Hey everybody. Man, it's right now I'm on the East Coast. It's 4:44. I just got back from what do you think? Just got back from The Dark Knight Rises, everybody. Um, Based on the expression on my face, I know some of y'all probably like, man, this dude's probably sleepy or tired, but truly, I really enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises. This is going to be one of my more opinionated reviews because it's been, if you think about the Rotten Tomatoes incident where people literally got upset because of negative reviews threatening people's lives. I've seen people give it great praise. I've seen a lot of people, before the movie said out, it's like no matter what, it's going to be the gospel. It's going to be great just because I've had some of my friends that texted me. Some of them said it's one of the best tie-ins to a final trilogy that they've ever seen. I've seen some of them say, it just wasn't their cup of tea. I'm going to give you my perspective and my review. And it's going to be spoiler-free. As much as I'd love to spoil some stuff for you, because I want to, but I'm not. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into the review. First off the gate, the story arc for this time around, it was perfect. Reason why I say my opinion was perfect is because the Joker was supposed to encompass a lot into the storyline of the third movie. Like Heath Ledger's character was gonna be built around it, and so that was part of the reason why Christopher Nolan didn't want to make a third one because a lot of that was gonna be centered around that. Everything was gonna build around what Heath Ledger's performance was in Dark Knight, and because of that, he was like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna do it unless it can be topped. And what he did, he actually made a whole nother storyline that brought everything back to the forefront. Like if I think about the very first movie and I think about the end, like I literally would think that he planned everything he did. But really, they just it's a good storyboard. Him and his brother, as far as the writing is concerned, directing, screenplay, the storyline was on point. From the beginning off the gate, based off the trailers, you've seen how Bruce is dealing with a lot of different turmoil from the actions that happened at the end of The Dark Knight and sacrificed himself off the lie that he killed Harvey Dent, that he killed five other people, and that he was the villain. Try to save the city. Well, all those things they lied about, it is literally suffocating Jim Gordon and suffocating Bruce Wayne. And so because of that, the city has been really good as of late, but when two people come into town, which one is going to be Selena Kyle, the other one is going to be Bane, all that just gets shut out the door. From that standpoint, everything that Batman represented is gone. Like there was like I can't spoil it, but let's just say Batman is not up to par to defend anyone, let alone himself. There's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration that basically Batman has given up. And that starts off the storyline, but at the same time, you got this whole nother character that's strategic, that's precise, and that's very strong. And I'm not talking about like steroid strong or superpower or anything like that. Just on an intellectual and on a physical level, this is the kind of person you do not want to get in front of. So anyway, I'm gonna stick to what I'm trying to do. Storyline was just perfect. I give the storyline a 10 out of 10 just for effort, as in a whole trilogy. Not this is not a sequel to The Dark Knight. This is a sequel to Batman Begins. This is a full front going through a whole trilogy. It's not just about okay, so the epicness of the Dark Knight and how intense the one character versus another character. No, like it was all built on Batman Begins and how that story started. And I mean, a lot of people dispute this, but in my opinion, the Batman Begins was one of the best like origin stories that was really kind of told based off the mythology, and they made it their own, like in a realistic and kind of way, but still keeping mythology to a level. And because of that, everything built from that. The Dark Knight paved the way for the ability into making a movie like this one, but it all started with this. And so, because of that, that's why I give it a 10 out of 10, just from the storyline, period. Now, when I think about just the next part I'm going to talk about, this is the character development. Performance-wise, everybody was on their game. There was nobody that lacked performance as far as I was concerned. I even think that Christian Bale and his character of Batman this time around, like, he showed more depth from coming to the point that he was here to trying to maintain just even existing with the way that Gotham is headed. I think he did a really great job, like performance-wise. Even the voice, like the muffling of the voice that people complain about all the time, I just really kind of ignored it. I don't even really hear it as much anymore. There's so much more with his character arc that, like, everything is at stake. Like, it's just amazing how it does it. But one thing that definitely, well, two actually things that, I'll take that back, three characters that surprised me. One, I'm gonna have to go ahead and talk about Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway, by far, in my opinion, surpassed what Michelle Pfeiffer did for Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer's character introduced Catwoman in a brighter light for the generation then, but this one that Anne Hathaway did, she far surpassed, like, partial everything that the other generations have done, because she encompassed all of their peaks and then all their privileges. And so basically she was tactical, she was manipulative, she was very attractive, she had a story arc, and she actually had this balance between good and evil consistently. Like, she will screw you over very quickly and then have a conscience and want to come back and do something about it to save. And so, like, as far as her performance, like, she did an amazing job. Everybody, like, I can't stress that enough. Anne Hathaway played her role in this. Definitely, if any other performance, I would definitely say, like, on top of it. Now, of course, there's Joseph Eugene Levitt, which is Angels in the Outfield, anything you want to think about, Inception. This guy, there's so much meat to his character, and I'm not going to spoil anything about him, but essentially, like, his character, if you take, I think another reviewer kind of said, if they had Jim Gordon and they had what Harvey Dent stood for, and they merged together, and that would be what this kid is about. And he is the type of character that his ideals are so high and his ethics are so high that he meets the standard. Like, he questions everyone. He brings light to a lot of stuff that have been kind of pushed back. And I mean, as far as physicality or as far as character, I mean, he's very character driven. He's very enthusiastic about trying to save Gotham. He knows the essence of everything that Gotham was being saved was really Batman, and nobody can tell him otherwise. You just have to really see what happens with his character, but I promise you, like, you're really gonna enjoy his character just in and of itself. Like, he brought a whole nother mode to the character. It wasn't anything that he did special or anything like that. It's just his character is solidified in it. Next Thursday I'm gonna talk about Bane, Tom Hardy. So take Tom Hardy. I don't know if y'all know, but Star Trek Nemesis, Tom Hardy had a bald head. He was skinny. He was like Jean-Luc Picard, which is Patrick Stewart. Like, he was his double. Fast forward all the way to 2010 and look at the Warrior. This guy is cut. He's built. He is a rock. Like, he can act in ways that I've never even seen a person do, with the physicality and with the acting potential. So bring the Warrior, and he adds maybe about 10 more pounds to that. A lot more hand-to-hand combat oriented. This character, y'all, this is not your normal Bane character. Like, this guy, he's tactical. He is aggressive. Like, he's a brawler. I think Christopher Nolan said it perfect. Like, this guy, he I mean, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but he creates a lot of chaos. Not just with the city, but he hurts people. He kills people. He cracks skulls. He does a lot of bad things. This is not the type of person that you would want to get around in a fight or even confront, because the way his character is given off, I can try to act it out. So say you're a person that's coming out of the street and you're running and you see this guy, he's like, "Who are you today? Today you're about to die." And then he kills him. Like, I mean, when I say he kills him, he will take his bare hands or take something and kill them. And I mean, it's just, it brings whole another meaning to just like evil, and like it was awesome. Now, as far as his voice is concerned, people want to sit there and say, "Oh, he's too muffled, all this and that." I think that personally, that he did a really good job. The thing what people don't realize is that this isn't a voiceover. Like, they didn't have like freaking Sean Connery go and do the a muffled out voice. No, that's not the case. He had to act with his eyes, and he had to act with the muffle on his face. And so what they did, they had an actual mic that recorded everything like that, and then they amplified the voice off of it. So his voice carries and resonates throughout most of the film, but that's all Tom Hardy in his voice. That's all him doing the changing and alteration of everything. So in that sense, for me, I think he did an amazing job doing it. And because of that, like, there was different emotions that he was doing the old time. Like, when he was fighting people, you could see the anger and the rage inside of him, but then he was like talking this intellectual kind of voice. Then there was times where like he was sad or something happened that was really deep, and you can see it all through his eyes. Like, this guy is on another level. And to be honest, like, Batman wasn't ready. Like, there's some things that happen in this movie that, like, this is bad. But it was amazing performances all around between all the people I talked about. Of course, Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon. Some other characters that were really good. Everybody, in my opinion, played their role. There are two other secret characters that showed up in the movie, which I'm not going to talk about. Actually, three. I was really happy to see all three of them. Y'all can leave y'all comments about it if you want to, as far as like y'all speculation. But if you honestly have seen the movie, please just send me a message, and don't leave it as a comment. I really don't want to spoil this for anybody, because honestly, going in blinders first, like, I really am glad I didn't get spoiled by some reviewer or somebody saying something about the movie. And then finally, as far as just the epicness and the grand scale of everything that happened as far as the action is concerned, fighting was just amazing. Like, there was this one scene towards the end where it's just this brawl going on between the villains and basically the heroes that are still standing, they're still alive, like, and they're just going at it. And it's definitely a sight to behold. I mean, I looked at it in IMAX. I'd recommend going to the IMAX experience. 75 minutes of the whole movie was shot in IMAX, and it did not disappoint. But I think what's going to happen is, as far as what people are going to say, you're going to say, well, oh, it wasn't to the intensity level of The Dark Knight. Oh, it didn't have Heath Ledger's performance that was breakout. This movie, in my opinion, was just a full, well-rounded movie that made the trilogy complete. And dare I say that left grounds for expansion, but in my opinion, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. That's just me personally. Now, from a critic or a viewer standpoint, I can maybe dispute that some of the stuff that I loved in Dark Knight or some of the stuff I loved in Batman Begins where I liked a lot more or less or XYZ, and maybe I'll give it like maybe a 9 out of 10, or maybe a less than that, maybe like an 8 out of 10, but nothing less than that. For me personally, as a Batman fan, which I am, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. These movies have been made so that when you look at The Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and now The Dark Knight Rises, they are their own entity. and they have their own fan base now officially. So that is my review for The Dark Knight Rises. I really hope you all enjoy it. Definitely check it out. Have a good night. See ya.